Our future rests on what I'm going to talk about today, and I mean this sincerely. You know I don't joke around about this stuff because everything counts. And a lot of things are happening right now. I have felt great change. A shift has happened. My friends know I talk about it. I said something feels so different. My reality has changed. I want to share with you some things that have happened. Now, this is still June of 2024 of this video. It's going to be interesting to watch this in a couple of years, right? And there's supposedly some major things happening in June. I haven't seen them yet. Doesn't mean they're not going to happen. But here's what I want to share with you that we could facilitate right now. The entire future rests on what you're going to choose. And I'm going to share that with you today. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. Have you purchased Breakthrough Fear? It has changed lives. How can a book change a life? How can a spiritual teacher change somebody's life? You, through that information, are making a decision that shifts your entire reality because maybe you had an epiphany. Maybe you decided to change your belief about something, so you're actually doing it. But through the collective, our assistance, one another, guiding each other, we're able to achieve those goals, but still have the individual journey. That book could open your eyes, and I hope that you'll go purchase it. And those of you who have, I hope you'll give me a review. I want others to know that a small book, mine was A New Earth. That's one of my favorite books, The Master Key System. Many, many, many years ago. It took just that one opening to something that we haven't been told, and we're going to talk about this today because your future, my future rests on it. Now, my future and yours could be completely different, but I want you to know I'm still in control, as are you, of how I behave and my reaction to an event, a person, everything. It's very difficult to be on this planet because we're witnessing things that are very painful. I'm going to share a story with you here in a moment. I also want to announce that July 7th, I'm going to be on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, and we're going to talk about all of this. You're going to learn things about me on that program that you probably haven't heard. I'm going to talk about my mystical experiences. I'm going to talk about my healing, my miracle. I'm going to talk about why I went from investment banking and how I started doing this and what I know. Because you have a mission too. It's all about that. We aren't plopped here, just physical beings in this amazing, amazing universe. You look out there and think, wait, okay, well, I'm a person, who's God, and we don't have free will. And I'm thinking everything is intelligent and planned and purposeful, all of it. You, in ignorance, I came into ignorance too. All humans come into ignorance. That is just not having the knowledge of what they are. Allows it to be the game. I hope you'll subscribe. And please share my videos because our future rests on what we're going to discuss today. I want you to know that we are so programmed, and you know this. It's easy to say I know it. It's not as easy to break past it. Our future rests on your decision, according to what I'm going to discuss, and that is everything. Everything is programming. Everything. Everything you see, everything you've been taught. Columbus discovered America. I'm pretty sure there were people already here. Leif Erikson did 500 years before him, and who knows who before him. We are given a set of beliefs, and we are told this how it is, and then we argue with each other about it because we are programmed to believe that there's one thing, one way, one knowledge. Even quantum physics continually changes. This is how it is. And I'm thinking, no, it's not. There are no limits. There are no limits. Impossible. That's an impossibility, except for in one instance. If you choose limitations, you can create that. which means there are no limits. You can create limitations, which is what humans are doing. Your organic food is laced with chemicals. It has to be. There is a number of, or let's just say a certain gauge that they use, like, okay, when's it organic? Okay, we don't have as many chemicals, but it still has chemicals. I've talked to organic farmers. They said, think about it. If we didn't have any chemicals on those massive amounts of food, they would be eaten up by bugs and everything else. We're told that bugs are pests. I see signs all over the place. Pest control. Yay, and some cute little picture, and I think we call animals, insects, pests. They're enemies that need to be eliminated. We're programmed. And right now, you might actually right now go, oh, well, okay, now we've taken it too far. I'm supposed to let the cockroaches over. No, we don't have to go into killing and chemicals because we have not created alternatives, options, because that's easier to do that. But the unseen world that we've created is killing us. That future out there you guys are worried about going underwater, that's nothing. We've been doing it right here for years. I saw a truck go by here, and it was spraying chemicals, probably for mosquitoes, and I felt it. We're in a toxic world that will continue if you don't make a different choice. Now, this could be a little depressing for you, but I want you to know there's another world emerging right now that is beautiful. And so to talk about that, I'm just wanting to make you aware of the fact that we've been accepting of that world. Now, I'll give you a little a story about yesterday. If you're not on my Instagram, you wouldn't know this. Because these are the things that you and I can change that will flip the entire world into something so amazing. And it only takes this much for you to do it. You and I can do something so incredible. It will go, we're in the tipping point. Where are we going to tip into? You guys have read the book, you know about the tipping point. Yesterday, I was taking the golf cart with the dog, and it ran out of battery, and a very wonderful man, elderly man, pushed my golf cart back to the house. I gave him a big old hug, and he said, well, I did my good deed for the day. I said, no, you did a really great thing. I could have been sitting out there for hours, and a big storm was coming in, but I missed it because that man bothered to go out of his way to do something, an act of kindness. Later on, the storm came through, and I had to take the puppy out, and I wanted to go eat dinner. So we walked up to the restaurants. It's about a 30-minute walk. We got there, we had a nice little dinner, and it started to pour. I thought the rain was over with. There are transportation vans that go around the complex and would have dropped us off. I said, do you drop off at such and such neighborhood? He said, yes. Oh, the dog can't come on. And everyone on the bus said, here's a seat. There was one seat left. Here's a seat. Come on, we don't mind. Bring the dog. And there were no other dogs on there. They're not allowed. So there was no other dog to get, in trouble. Now, I understand. There's safety issues. I said, okay. I said, you're not going to make an exception. He said, no. By the way, this was a black man. And I looked at him, I thought, wow, you're not going to let me on the bus? Tables are turned, aren't they? What are we learning? There was a rule, and he wasn't willing to break it. So I went to another bus, and there was nobody on it. 2 people were going to get on it, and I said, do you mind if I bring this dog on? There's a huge bus here. And I looked at the gentleman, he said, dogs aren't allowed. I said, no, I know that. I said, sometimes we have to go past the rules to do an act of kindness. He says, I do live like that. I said, good. I said, now, I'll tell you exactly where I live, resident here. And he made it so difficult for me. I said, forget it. Just forget it. And I stepped off the bus, and I had to walk 30 minutes in the rain, pouring rain. And by the way, that black gentleman drove by with a completely empty van. And he looked at me, and I looked straight at him, soaking wet. And he didn't stop. When do we step up to the plate for an act of kindness? you can change the world. When more and more people, you see, this is what happens. It's called the tipping point. When we start to do things and we go not against something, but towards something beautiful. We make higher decisions, not in conflict, not in arguing with somebody or taking sides or voting for this because we're right and they're wrong, but that's what people do. They take a side because they think the other people are wrong. No one's wrong. They're just making a different choice. Is your choice a higher one? Is it going to keep people healthier? Are you, and yourself healthier? Is it going to be kinder? Is it going to allow people to step in and do acts of kindness, even if the rules say no? We have to use our mind. We have to use some thinking in that. Sometimes it's not the best thing for the whole. Are you doing acts of kindness? Because I'm going to tell you right now, you have to start thinking about what you eat, what you do, what you bring into your house, what you allow your kids to watch, what you watch. Everything is energy. And this golden era that we're going to step into is going to shift and accelerate when we focus on that. See, we have to focus on it. Now, I'm going to talk about, I have 2 businesses. Breakthrough Fear takes you into a space where you understand what fear is and that it doesn't have to control you. And now all of a sudden it has purpose. And so now you use it for opportunities. You use it for transformation. You use it to accelerate your spiritual growth. That's what it's for. It is not to be avoided. It's to break through it into a space where all things are possible for you. Everything. Crazy stuff could happen for you. You go, wow. And I'll talk about that on George Norrie's program. Miracles. That's the subject, miracles. What's a miracle? It's just unusual circumstances that seem impossible because we don't use them every day, yet we could. It could be how we live. It could be how you live right now. So I teach people how to break through fear. I have 5 stars doing that. Why? I do a completely different method that's so simple. The first step we take, and if you're in my free email list, you'll get a whole webinar on this. 4 steps. The first one is not to deal with why we are upset. Isn't like to look at the person who inflicted pain or the job or the what. It's why am I feeling this? I have a story I've created about that situation, about that childhood, about that job. I've created a story about it that has created anxiety. I become a victim, and therefore I'm not taking control of the change that says, I learned from that childhood. I can go into a space of peace. I can make a different decision. It doesn't make them right. It doesn't change what they did, their choices, but it changes your choices. I teach all of that, and we go through acceptance, and we go through empowerment, we go through observation. We have to observe this world, or you'll allow it to go through you in a way that's going to be very painful. You don't want to do that. The other thing that I do is I realize these people, they get into this beautiful space, and then they go into jobs they hate, and they don't know how to get out of it. How do I create? I want to be an Akashic Records reader. We have people like that. I want to do this, I want to do that. And I'm like, I have to give them a way to do that because I'm a business person. I create online businesses. I teach a multi-million-dollar company students. But I wanted to create something that was planet conscious, that allowed us to not only create those higher choices, but to present them to the world. Can't be on my platform if you want to destroy the planet and sell, plastic toys from other countries. We're only allowed to do planet conscious businesses that are going to bring something amazing, starting with you. Because when you love, you have passion in what you do, your whole world changes. You go into a high frequency. And so if you go into a job that you're not feeling that about, that's not going to change until you make the change. The job isn't the problem. It's you going into the job, right? But I have to earn money, so I tell people, I'm teaching you how to earn money a different way. It's not easy. Neither is going into that job. And at the end of your life, are you going to look back and regret that you didn't make a higher choice and never know what that could have been like? I said to one of my students, I said, we make money online stuff, and I said people are looking for some big financial result because the money will, then if I have the money, then I can help people. I said, no, your act of kindness right now, today, is what helps people. That money means absolutely nothing. It's how you're earning it that counts. And I said to my student, you realize the students in Digital Explorers are actually creating a new life for themselves. Put aside the business, we're creating businesses. I said they're going on a transformational journey of knowing what they were never allowed to do, and that's to go after things that they're passionate about. Focus on what's best and highest for themselves and others, and nothing else. Yeah? Not the money, how much can I make, what's a fast trick? There aren't any. Those are lies. That's programming. You can step into that world. You can do it today. You have to observe your thoughts and catch yourself. My app is What Am I Manifesting? I don't think is operational anymore. We had to cost a lot of money to keep those up, and my developer just didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't charge. Yeah, see, I didn't charge, and if I charged, we probably could have kept it going. There's a world out there, a monetary world that we still live in and have to function in. You can do it whatever way you want. There's nothing wrong with money. What is your life? What does it mean? What is every step and every thought? It's not doing this that I hate to get over here. That will never happen. It's doing this to change this. Are you giving the world options? Are you taking higher options? Are you making higher choices? We are changing the world right now. And your future right now is whatever you're thinking and feeling. Not a place to get to. And if you're this is part of the programming, is all these stories out there what the future is going to be. Most of it's pretty bad, right? Is the programming to get you to look to somebody else to tell you what it is, instead of telling you you're creating it. I'm telling you you're creating it, and I'll bet you not a damn thing's going to happen in June. I could be wrong, because guess what? No one actually knows the future, because we create it every moment, right? We can change it at any point. What's going to happen in your future? What do you want? I want you to think about what you want right now. Don't worry about other people, what they're thinking and doing. That's judgment, and that's the lowest form. Doesn't matter. But they're doing, no. What are you doing? Love them no matter what. They are you. We are all one beautiful energy field. It's intentional and it's divine. And the choices those frequencies make are also divine, because we can learn from it and we can offer higher choices to them. Doesn't matter why they take it. I don't care why somebody changes. If they think you're going to make more money doing planet conscious businesses, I'm cool with that. The planet conscious business choice is going to be higher. If you are interested, if you're not in my email list, you can come over. This is Digital Explorers. We're creating planet conscious businesses. I hope you'll subscribe. And come on over and break through the fear and start making some choices. It's going to be scary and exhilarating. You're going to realize you just changed your life and other people because you know what you're doing is right. You're coming from passion, positive impact, and you're going to have purpose through that. My platform is all based on that, the foundations. And you'll create the new world. And I thank you for that. And the rest of you, that's okay. You can never really make a mistake. But how much fun would it be to do an act of kindness? Step into something you never imagined possible. I'll help you with it. You'll never have to be alone. You're never alone. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Your future starts today. You're creating it. You're creating it. All right? Watch what you fill your space with. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. You're whole and perfect. You're perfect. Everything else is illusion. And you can peel those layers off anytime you want and realize you don't have to play the game. You just have to make the choices in your world that could put you into something else, another dimension, still in this body, but experiencing a reality you never imagined possible. Give it a try. You can do it. Doesn't matter who you are. Namaste.